I just realized the fan's blowing in the background.
That's getting crazy. What the heck?
And we're live, I think. Maybe. Maybe. I think so. I think we're there. Alright. So, if you notice the title, it's a weird model. So, there's not a whole lot of ways to describe this model. It's a dude playing a lung, like a bagpipe. Or I think it's a lung. Anyway, let's get to it and see what we got here. So, it's Tuesday. That means we played AOS last night. And Jacob has got a Nurgle army that he's slowly building. And this guy ended up in my trunk. He was primed in the, I think it's Death Guard green. This down here. It was all primed in that. Because watching shades dry is absolutely no fun. I went and shaded all the skin and everything on there, so it's a nice green. If you don't know anything about Nurgle, they're the like infected, nasty ones, and like his guts are hanging out, and he's got little pus boils, and this is a Nurgling down here. It's just a little happy, infectious little thing, but there's a lot of little interesting details on this, and it's a Nurgle model, which is sort of fun. So I figured, what the heck, we'd give this a shot. So, like I said, it was Death Guard green was primed, and then Biel-Tan over it, and we're just going to get right into it because there's a lot of stuff to do on this model. But we're going to start off with the Lycian green. And we're just going to give we're going to try to knock out all the skin because it's over the majority of the model. And it also involves a bunch of dry brushing. And that means that it doesn't, if you try to dry brush later, you hit all the details that you've already painted. So that's no fun. So once we stop throwing the brushes around and everything, we're just going to take the dry brush, put a little bit of that on there. Let me see if I can actually show you what I'm doing here. Got that little corner of the palette up there. And all we're going to do is we're going to take that paint that we just put on there and basically wipe it right back off. Sort of push it around so it gets into the bristles of the brush. But you don't want to hit like the model and it just starts streaking. Yes, Jacob's all excited about his bile pooper. That's the way I'm going to say it. Yes, it's a bile pooper. So, just a quick chance. Make sure I don't have a whole lot of stuff going on there. We're just going to real lightly go over him and his little Nurgling. I like to hit the Nurgling first because it's easier to go back, and if I messed up with the dry brush and it was too much, then it's easier to go back and fix this guy than it is to go back and fix him. So I didn't do a stream yesterday. I got caught up putting a bunch of stuff. I was putting in a bunch of applications, and I wanted to get to gigabytes. And yeah, I didn't do a stream yesterday, which, sorry. I try to do them every day, but yesterday it just wasn't going to happen. So, or at least it wasn't going to be one that I was like really into. So I don't know if you've ever had to fill out, like online applications, but it's always fun when, attach your resume. Now, take all the stuff that's on your resume and fill it all into these blanks. So, yeah. As most resumes and applications online are apt to do now. So we're just going around. I mean, the brush is, they call it dry brush for a reason. The brush almost doesn't have any paint left on it by the time you start hitting the model. And it just goes on there nice and easy. Man, I'm really shaking that desk today. I don't know what's going on. So, get in there, get the edges of his face. There's a lot of little details and stuff. Like I said, without a whole lot of paint on the brush, you can be a little less careful and just sort of go over it until it comes up to a level that you like. So, like this little face right here. When we dry brush this, it slowly starts to catch those little high points and everything, and you just slowly build up a level until you get it to where you want it, and then you stop. Just go around, like he's got into his ribs here. Back around on his back, down in there. So, like I said, the model, when I got hold of it, already had the death guard on it, and these little, like the little wooden bits coming out of it were already done in like a brownish wood. So, you know what? We're just gonna go with it. Yeah, so Jacob showed me this model, and I was like, and I couldn't help myself. I had to do this one. And also it gives me a little chance to do, like, it gives me a chance to do a bunch of, like, Nurgling skin. Just trying to get a good little spot around there. So it's picked up a bunch of the high points and all that. So what we're going to do is, I'm not cleaning out that brush. So those are supposed to be his own guts. That's supposed to be his own guts right there that he's playing. That is so messed up. I thought it was like somebody else's guts that he was playing, but why not? We're going to switch over. We're going to do one more dry brush on the skin here. And we're going to switch over to some Nurgling green, which is just a little bit brighter than our other one. Just a little bit on the end of the brush. Somehow I still blow that out the back of it. I don't. Oh, the GW pot's driving me nuts. So, work that into the bristles and then wipe 90% of the paint off. And then, like with this face, we're not going to hit this one quite as hard as we did on the other one. And then once you feel like you've got enough on there, you just stop. Go over his little guts and his knee and all that fun stuff. Do the back of his hand. He's got all these little, I guess it's where his spine's sticking out. I don't know. Get up there into that shoulder, down along his arm. Into his foot a little bit. A Marvel butt? Is that's Nurgle's ass, I guess? Instead of America's ass. Sandy said that Marvel Comics always draws the best asses. Alright. So, just 2 quick dry brushes. And the skin's starting to look not too bad. It really picks up the little boils and rips and tears and all that fun stuff. So, because he is a hero, we spent a little more time going into some of the details and stuff on him. Just wanted to make sure the cat wasn't underneath my chair before I moved it. That'd have been fun. We're gonna grab green shade. It says green shade, but it's got a lot of blue in it too, so I'm gonna grab a little bit of that. Go back over here. And around the eyes and stuff, we're gonna take a little bit of this shade and just shade down around those bits. I don't want to go crazy with this, and I certainly don't want to knock over that big bottle, but it's just one of those things where sooner or later you're going to do it. Make sure I'm on camera. Up on that upper part, down along the bottom. There's a little eye up here, so we're just going to go around that, shade it in. Like I said, we're not putting too much onto it. I just want a little bit to darken up those areas around his eye. We're going to come back and do something different with his eye, but seeing as how he only has one, and like deep in the mouth, we're just going to darken it up. And the same thing with the little Nurgling over here. He's got his little eyes right there. And just around them, we're going to run a little bit of that wash to darken up that area. And then way back there in the back, we're going to drop a little bit of that green shade in just to darken that in the far, far back. Same thing on our friend here. So every time I hear his name, the only thing that I think of is Sloppity Bilepiper from Hitchhiker's Guide. I'm sure that had to have something to do with this when they named this Joker, because Sloppity Bilepiper is just way too close. Just a little bit more around his eye. And same thing on the Nurgling. So we got that down. Now we're gonna go like, you're gonna go, why in the hell is he using this color? Because it's gonna work, that's why. So we'll actually go over to the palette and we're gonna grab some Cadian Flesh Tone, if I can find it. Nope. Ta-da! So there we are. We'll just grab a little bit of that because we don't need too much. There's not a whole lot. There's the lips on these guys sort of stand out. They're a little purple, a little different. And so we're going to get a real good point on our paintbrush here. Soon. I'm hoping to have Jacob's leading me in questions. It was asked, when are you opening up commissions again? I'm going to open it up here. I'm hoping to have the website up and everything up and running before the beginning. At the very latest, on January 1, I want to have everything up and running. So here before Christmas or slightly thereafter, we'll probably have everything up and running, or at least I hope to. So all I'm doing is right there at his lip. I'm just taking on this one because I'm going to come back and do the teeth later. That's fine. If I go a little bit too far down, going up is a little trickier, but and then like getting into his hood there. But like the bottom side of that, we're just gonna, a lot of that right now is on his teeth. I'll cover it up. It's gonna be a real fine line at the very top of the mouth there. And then his little buddy down here is gonna have lips too, so we're just going to take and almost do like an edge highlight around where his lips are. What do I think about painting a Sisters of Battle army? I would love to get hold of some Sisters of Battle. I've actually been asking around. I don't know who all has them. If you've got some, Sandy, I will definitely paint at least one, if not more. I would love to get hold of a Sisters of Battle. I haven't painted too much 40K, but those models look great, and I would love to give those a shot. All right, so like I said, it's just a little trace around there. Was it so the battle box is already out. Like the battle box is out, and I think it's pretty much sold out everywhere. I honestly took a look at it, but I just, as I don't play 40K, I couldn't really justify spending that much money on it and not playing 40K. So once again, I'm actually running this into the teeth. I'm trying to catch that little bitty ridge where the teeth meet the lip. So it's not that big a deal. It's easier to, like I said, because we're going to be going back and redoing the teeth. So where I hit on the teeth right here, it'll be covered up, and I'll just leave that little bit of pink at the very top. So we're going to take a little bit of Druchii Violet, and we don't need a whole hell of a lot on this. I mean, this is just like tip of the brush, just barely got any on it. And what we're going to do is, because that is like a stark pink against this, we take that Druchii Violet and we turn these lips a different color. Once again, I'm aiming low on these teeth right here, or on the upper lip, because I really want it to go. I don't want it to go high up into the green. I want it to just sort of. I'd rather it go into the teeth, which I'm going to work on later, than the opposite way. Same thing around his mouth here. Go around and around and around it goes. So I started using Caster, so not only am I broadcasting on Facebook, I've also got it going on Twitch. I mean, I haven't really advertised too much that I'm doing anything on Twitch, but I think what I'm going to start doing is doing some of the longer, like I usually do an hour for a Facebook video, and then that's usually what I move over to YouTube. But I think what I'm going to do is start doing where I do this, like I'll start the model on this, and I normally at the end of the video, usually I'm saying, okay, I'm going to do this off camera and all that fun stuff. Well, I think what I'm going to start doing is, instead of doing it off camera, I'll just take it off the Facebook stream and go over to Twitch and just keep on painting over there. And if you want to see how the model finishes up and all that fun stuff, you can go over there and just keep watching. But alright, so Kislev flesh. We're just going to take a dab of that. Little bit dab. We don't need very much at all. And actually, I'm going to go to a smaller brush because I want so little of this. Now, like on a Great Unclean one or something like that, where it has like bigger details, this would probably show up a lot more. But with this, he's got these like millimeter wide lips, maybe even half a millimeter. But what I'm going to do So I'm going to take a little of that Kislev flesh. I'm just going to give him a couple little shots across on the higher parts of that lip. It's real pale. And it's real thin. And to be honest, it's probably one of those things where you're not even really going to notice it. Your eye will pick it up. But it's one of those things where if you're trying to save time on this, you could probably just bypass this. Because like I said, these are little bitty details. Can't even really see. It's like when I was doing the bone mason. I spent all that time blending on the back of his hat. And then it dawned on me when I put him on the chair. The chair completely blocks all that out. You can't see any of that work that I did. I know it's there. And you can bend the model around to where you can actually see it. But nobody's ever going to turn that thing the way that I did to get that. Once again, I'm taking it down into the teeth because I'd rather go high or low into the teeth than up into the green and end up, because I'm going to come back and do the teeth. Alright. Banebraid brown. There we go. Remember, whenever painting a naked model, always make sure that you do the nipples. That's today's lesson, I think. Might be the unintentional lesson of today, but any which way. We're going to take a little Baneblade brown. And I'm using that real little brush because there ain't much to paint on here. And I'm going to go right in here. And paint one man nipple. And then, because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm going to go over here to the other side and get in there and do it again. Why? Because why the hell not, right? What would Bob say?
Let's get crazy. What the heck?
So we're going to take a little bright light. I don't even know why I'm doing this detail, but I mean, it's something that you cannot see on this model. But it makes me laugh, so, oh well, I'm 12. Get over it. I'm going to take a little Raglan flesh shade and hit those. Like I said, it's just, yep, and yep. I don't know why I had to do that, but I did. Alright. So, here's where, like, weird colors get involved, but hang with me because it actually looks alright when you're done. So, we're going to take Averland Sunset, and that is a goldy, almost like a mustard yellow. we're going to take a little bit of that. Put it down here. Don't need too much because there's not that many spots. But all these little boils and all that stuff, our friend here is not like a healthy man. And we'll just say that penicillin would definitely like do this man good, but he's not getting any. So, you know, Nurgle, the original anti-vaxxer. So these little boils, like this thing right here. Yeah. You don't even have to ask if that's infected. It is. Around. And then like the very edge. Where this skin is ripped. I'm going to do up in this yellow. Not the very top. I'm trying to get that edge. It's easier for me to go down. There's guts and stuff sort of sticking out of here. So it's easier for me to go down into the guts than come up onto the skin, because it would be harder to fix the skin. It's not always about trying to run a perfect line. Sometimes it's just about trying to get the easiest thing that you can get in there and get. There we go. So just around where those guts and everything are hanging out. And then we're going to go, like, it looks like there's a tear in his skin up here where fat's sort of showing through. We'll go right there. Fill that in. And then down here, that looks more like a muscle, so we're going to leave that for the Screamer Pink. But this boil right here, this should be lanced, I'm just saying. And this little boil right there, we're going to do that up. This one looks like it's got some pus in it. Why not? It's sort of up to you to choose which ones. Some of them, leave green. Some of them just give it a dot of yellow or something. Sort of go around and see what you think. Like right here, he's got this right here in his Marvel butt. Thanks, Sandy. I'm using that from now on. But yeah, there's a little bit of fat showing through there, and then there's another spot here on his back. And like I've said before, I'm not a big fan of using tiny little brushes because they dry out so damn fast. But when it's little bitty spots like this, yeah, you might want to do this. Stop shouting, Sandy. Sandy, feel free. Was it? It's yours. Feel free. Sorry about the caps. Don't worry about it, man. I'm just happy to get comments. Alright, so now we just start looking for which boils and what all do we think needs a little bit of this yellow. Some of these, I'm thinking like this one down here looks like it should have been lanced. Yeah, let's give all three of these. Why the hell not? Spot right there. There's one right next to his spine that I think, you know. Back over here on his shoulder, we're just going to put one of these back in there. We'll come back around. I used Ard Coat to make them look wet, so gross and great. You keep picking at that, it's not going to heal. Put a little right there on his hand. A little bit around on his knee. I'm just going to do this one right here. Maybe this one up here on his arm. It's sort of up to you to decide what you're going to do. I'm going to go down here to the... Yeah, let's see. Let's get a couple on his feet, because, yeah. I'm just trying to spread it around, really. I don't want it to all be clumped up in one spot. Right there. And then down here on the little Nurgling that's on the base with him, there's a little fat gut shot right here. Get that stuff down in there. And around on the edge where that skin sort of turned up. One more little spot right there. Then we're going to take... Alright. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going back and touching this up just a little bit where the green's sort of shining through. I'm just making sure that it's got a good coat on it. Back down around there. Sandy apparently thinks I should torture myself, and he says you should paint his cap plaid. Plaid. It's alright. I know what you're trying to spell. I can't spell it either, so either which way, it's fine. I don't... oh, dear God, no, please don't... Yeah. I don't know. It might be fun to try it, though. I guess it depends on how long everything else takes me. So like I said, I'm just trying to make sure that I got good coverage. 2 thin coats. Momentarily dip into the Book of Duncan. And lo, there were 2 coats applied, thin, yet smooth. And the number of the coats was 2, and the coat of the counting was 2. Not 3, not 1. Too much? Probably. No, and a little bit more up there on his shoulder. Thou shall not continuous to 3. There we go. Alright. So we got the little pustules and all that stuff coated in yellow, and you're like, why in the hell would you do that? Yellow and green, they're sort of complementary, but whatever. Well, we're gonna dial that back a little bit. So we're gonna grab some Seraphim Sepia, which is sort of a brownish red. Sepia, which one is it? Somebody tell me. Not 4 or 3, but 2 thin coats. Alright, so we're going to grab a little bit of this, and we're going to go back, and we're going to wash all those spots that we just did. And what's really funny is this brownish red wash is actually going to make that yellow blend into this a little bit. And I want it down into the corners where the skin's cracked. I want it to go down and sort of sit in those. So what we'll do is we'll just sort of go along those. Just sort of let it set. I don't want it completely red, so what I'll probably do is come back here in just a second and grab some of that. And around and down, back around, bloop bloop, bloop bloop. We'll do Nurgle's butt. Well, so this is a very mustard yellow. It's just, I think my white, the white bounces off a little bit because I'm using an iPhone as a camera, and it just doesn't, it shows brighter than what it actually is. Now I scroll back around and see if there's any little yellow bits that I missed, like that little spot right there on his spine, up there on his butt. And then we're going to take this and we're going to use it to shade a little bit. Oh, hold on a second. I need to get that. Just pulling that out a little bit. Because while I want it a little bit red, I don't want too much on there. I want just a little bit more right there. Now, with just a little bit of this, we're going to go into like some of these recesses, like on between his fingers here. Basically what we're doing is we're just forcing a shadow into it. So like this little muscle fold back over here, we're going to give that a little shot back in there. And down like between his toes, we'll definitely hit those. Get that separation, maybe a little bit across the ridge of his foot. Down there between the toes, along that. Nothing too, I don't want to wash the whole model in it, but I'm just reinforcing some of those shadows. The bottom of his foot, yeah, we'll just slather that on, but and then like between these little vertebrae, they're showing up in the back, we'll use that to sort of run down the side a little bit. Back down around there. A little bit under that spot that tore. There's like a little flap of skin that's hanging off that, so I'm just sort of wrapping that around. And these little wrinkles where his skin's sort of folding, we'll give those a little shot. And these little, his butt marks, we'll give those a little bit. And then back down here. Maybe a little bit back into his neck, because that's going to be real shadowy anyway. Back here on the back of his chin, we'll just sort of give that a little bloop bloop. It's a technical term. What'd you do? I gave it a bloop bloop. Right up underneath there. And then along the bottom, there's like a little strap that goes across this there, so we'll give that a little shot. And then on the bottom side of these, on the ribs, there we go. Just gives it a little more, defines those a little bit more, gives it a little more depth. Nothing too big. So then, to continue our wonderful why in the hell would you put that on green color, we're going to go over to Screamer Pink. Another one of my favorite colors. We don't need too much because we don't have too much to do. So we're going to go and, man, I'm just dropping little bits of paint. Thin it out just a little bit. There we go. And his little intestines. Now, remember I said that I'd hit that edge up there earlier. So I wanted the very edge to have the yellow, like there was a little fat deposit along there. So now I've got to be careful not to put my pink and cover all that up. I'm not even on camera. Sorry, y'all. Done into that. Little screamer pink along the guts. So because the green is so dark, we'll have to go back and give it a little extra. We'll have to give it another little thin coat. Really? Huh. So Sandy put on here that the picture on Twitch looks better. So I wonder if that's a definition thing. Because there's, I don't know. It doesn't give me any statistics on what it's broadcasting at. I don't know. Wonder why that is. The one on Facebook says that it's 1280 by 720, so I know most folks are usually looking at this across their phone or something like that, and I guarantee it's not doing 720 on there, so I don't know. There's that. Huh. Wonder why that is. So, yeah. So Sandy's saying that the camera on Facebook isn't focusing, but the one on Twitch is just fine. So I've actually see like 3 of these. I got I've got OBS open to my right, which is how I do, like, how I change the shot, and that's how I put the little graphics and all that stuff in, and how I control the broadcast. It's getting the straight feed, so that's what's actually sending out to the other ones. But I've also got Facebook opened up small in front of me here, and then Twitch over here also. And I guess because I have them smaller, I can't really tell which one is which one, or But now that I'm sort of looking at it, both of them are about the same size, and the one from Twitch does look clearer. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we're now going to do the giant lung sack. Bleh. So we're going to come up right up underneath this. This reminds me of like one of those anti-smoking ads. This is your lung. This is your lung after smoking. This is your lung after using it as a bagpipe. Blech. Yep. Do. No lag. Oh, is it like... Yeah, I guess it does sort of twitch on... Or... I guess not use the word twitch. It does sort of jump around a little bit on Facebook. It's got to be the way that they're transmitting it out. It's the only thing I can figure. Because they're actually both... I'm using Caster to throw it to both of them. So... They're both getting the same feed pretty much at the same time. I guess it just depends on what they're doing with it. So I accidentally thinned out my Screamer Pink a little bit too much. So just need a little bit of it. Not that little. Sorry about that. I don't know why I keep like pulling my glasses up, because the second I start getting down into this, I look over the top of them. I'm not even looking through my glasses. I'm just... Possibly why I'm tilting my head so much too. There we go. And the coughing has begun. Great. Alright. So we're coming up on the hour mark. I saw that. I've just about got this lung, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I mean, this would be a lung, right? I'm not the only one that just thinks that that is what this would be, right? But I've almost got this done. At least base coated. And I'm starting to cough. So, do we think... Do I come back... Do I keep working on this off camera? Or... Do I switch it over to Twitch? Or... Do I hold off and just pick up where I left off today? On the stream. Tomorrow. What do y'all think? There's like 4 of you that have stuck with me to this point, so... And because it's going to bug me, there's like a little spot down here at his arm. Sorry. I don't know what it is. I fire the OBS up and I start coughing. It's just, I'm allergic to OBS. That's what it is. So, boom, boom, boom. There we go. I think that's all the little gutsy bits that we're going to have. I'm looking to see if there's something that I missed. I guess his tongue will be that same color too. And the same thing up here on this. Down here. We wanted that sort of pinky color. I might do a little more red to it, but we can probably do that in... Like, this would be a good base color to get that red back, and then... So... We'll do his tongue real fast. And then we'll call it a day. For today. Call it a day for today? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I said it. So just trying to be careful and not get... where the teeth and all that are. Sorry. Needed some water. I go off the camera again? Background. And we'll switch brushes and get his little buddy's tongue. Yep. Like I said, we'll probably mix some more red into this to change the color a little bit and make it more. We might even take a little blood for the blood god and put it in there to make it look wet. Off the camera I go. It's getting late in the show, and Justin is tired of sitting in weird angles. So then, one last tongue, and we're calling it quits. Beep, beep, beep. Just barely on camera there. Beep, beep, beep. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Viola. All right. So we've got most of our base coat down and all that fun stuff. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. We may finish this up off the cam, maybe go over to Twitch and finish it up, or I may just wait until tomorrow and keep going with this. But we'll see. Anyway. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in on Tuesday. I actually had a bunch of folks watching today, so let's see here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm probably going to save this and try to finish it up on another stream maybe tomorrow or the day after, something like that. We'll come back to him and actually do him on there, because it seems like folks actually sort of like that one. Plus, it's pretty interesting model. It's got a bunch of little details and stuff that we can fiddle around with and clean up and all that fun stuff. So if you're in Georgia, try to stay dry, because I know it's been raining on and off, and you know, it's warm for now. It won't be tomorrow, but whatever. Anyway, I think I'm going to work on some different commissions that I got. That one's not a commission, that one's just for fun. But have a good rest of the day. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and go paint something.